His children, 6 children, are in the courtroom at this point listening to all of this. And the jury was picked knowing that they needed a certain level of comfort to hear these types of descriptions. It was very emotional and really tough to hear, bro.
Is there any message for the alleged victim? Do you apologize on behalf of your father? Do you believe your father's innocent? Do you still convince your father's innocent? Do you apologize on behalf of your father?
For the first time, the three Combs sisters appeared at the trial to provide emotional support for their father, but less than an hour later, they stood up, embraced each other tightly, and left the courtroom in tears. What exactly did the video shown at that moment capture that even Diddy's own daughters could not bear to witness?
That video is arguably the most important piece of evidence because it sets the stage when we're talking about coercion or fraud or force.
We need you to step to the side. Step to the side, please.
Yes, give us a little space. Give us a little space. Give us a little space.
In Manhattan federal court, the air was still before the trial began. Cassie presented a previously unrevealed video purportedly capturing footage from a controversial freak-off holding the key to the allegations against Diddy. According to the prosecutor, the video is pivotal evidence unveiling a web of accusations targeting Diddy and secrets tied to his family. As the tape was officially admitted as evidence, the gazes among the Combs family members grew heavy, as if they knew they were about to face something irreversible. Just minutes after the video began, Delilah frantically covered the eyes of her twin sister, Jessie. Chance and Justin, however, couldn't tear their gaze from the screen where the image of a familiar woman suddenly appeared. Was it Kim Porter?
On those drives, the witness says 8 videos featured 8 celebrities at Diddy freak-offs or parties, and that 6 were males, 2 were females. The drive also included a manuscript of an alleged Kim Porter memoir, a memoir that her 4 kids insist is fake.
Whispers from the audience spread rapidly like a wave of sound rising in the hushed courtroom. Then, without a word, all 3 left the room. The question lingers, what was revealed in that footage? And why, on their first visit to support Diddy, did they also turn and flee?
Beneath Manhattan's leaden sky, a bustling crowd converged on the federal courthouse where the trial of Sean Diddy Combs entered what seemed like just another day. Outside, reporters jostled for position, cameras flashed incessantly, and protest signs rose high, bearing the words "Justice for the victims." Murmurs of speculation rippled through the throng, from curious onlookers to legal analysts, all sensing the weighty atmosphere before a trial promising high drama. Inside, the courtroom was packed, not a single seat vacant. Sketch artists' pens raced across paper, cameras clicked rhythmically, and the jury's gazes were steely, poised to dissect every detail. The air in that oak-paneled room felt compressed, each breath seeming to fight for existence.
The unexpected presence of the Combs family drew all eyes. For the first time since the scandal broke, the family's reserved seats were no longer vacant. Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, Diddy's 3 daughters, sat prominently in the front row, joined by Justin Combs, the defendant's son. They were impeccably dressed, their simple yet elegant attire radiating an unanticipated maturity. The girls' faces were stoic, their eyes seemingly concealing a web of intricate emotions. When the media inquired about their attendance, Chance responded with a calm but resolute voice, "We're here to support our father." Yet in their gazes something felt unfinished, a subtle void, as if they were steeling themselves for something far weightier than their words could express.
Prosecutor Rachel Harper, a middle-aged woman with silver hair neatly tied back and thin-framed glasses, rose from the prosecution's table. Her voice resonated, deliberate yet commanding, like the steady beat of a drum heralding a momentous event. Ms. Fincher, she began, her piercing gaze fixed on Cassie. Please describe to the court what has been referred to as the freak-off and your role in those events. The courtroom seemed to hold its breath, awaiting her response. Cassie drew a deep breath, her eyes sweeping the room, pausing briefly on Alex, seated nearby, his steady gaze serving as an anchor. She pressed her lips together, then began to speak, her voice low but resolute, as if each word had been carefully weighed.
I met Sean in 2005. I was 19, just signed to Bad Boy Records. He was a powerful man, an icon in the music industry. He promised to take me to the top, to make me a star. But what I got wasn't stardom, it was a trap.
She paused, her gaze sweeping across the jury, as if to ensure they grasped the gravity of what she was about to reveal. About a year after we started dating, he introduced me to what he called the freak-off. He said it was a way to unwind, to explore new boundaries. But for me, it was like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from.
What is a freak off? The freak off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism.
Cassie described the freak-offs as meticulously planned gatherings orchestrated by Diddy, where he held absolute control. He called it voyeurism. He enjoyed watching me with others, she said, her voice quivering as she recalled the traumatic memories. But it wasn't just watching. He dictated everything: what I wore, how the room was lit, what acts were performed, even the amount of baby oil we had to apply so our bodies would glisten to his liking. She explained that Diddy required her to purchase outfits from specialty stores, scanty garments, and he would personally choose which ones she had to wear. I had no say, she said, her eyes fixed on the jury, her voice sharpening. If I refused, he would threaten me, leaving me feeling trapped with no way out.
It depends on where the relationship goes. If it's something that you didn't want to share and it's your secret, it's your secret. I do believe in karma if you're hurting people.
According to Cassie, the freak-offs were not mere fleeting gatherings. They often lasted from 36 to 72 hours, she revealed, her voice trembling as she described the sheer exhaustion she and other participants endured. One time, a freak-off stretched to 4 days. They happened weekly, like a mandatory part of my life. She recounted her coerced role in organizing these events. I had to find people through platforms like Craigslist or professional services, she said, her eyes lowering as if ashamed of her actions. I arranged their travel to places like Miami, Ibiza, New York, Louisiana, Las Vegas. I worked with his team, pretending they were recruiters to bring people in, but it was all part of the plan he'd laid out. Cassie explained that Diddy controlled not only the participants but also the environments where the freak-offs took place. He directed the lighting in the room, she said. At first, it was candles, creating a false sense of romance. Later, he switched to professional stage lighting, as if we were performing in a film where he was the sole director. She described how Diddy choreographed every detail, from the participants' movements to the specific acts he wanted to witness. He even demanded the use of illicit substances to make everyone more comfortable, she said, her voice choking. I remember once, before a freak-off, I had to text him to ask, "Which pill should I take from your bag?" And he replied, telling me exactly which one.
Now, with each moment, the testimony became more and more graphic. Her delivery, though, it never changed. It was matter of fact.
The trial reached its climax when Cassie's attorney, Samantha Klein, a woman with neatly tied brown hair and a piercing gaze, rose and requested to play a video. Your Honor, Klein declared, her voice ringing with clarity, we request permission to present evidence of a freak-off from 2018 labeled as the White Party Archive. The courtroom held its breath, all eyes fixed on the large screen in the corner. As the screen flickered to life, the first image revealed a lavish seaside mansion, palm trees swaying in the breeze, and neon lights pulsing through the night. Figures moved in a chaotic blur, electronic music thumping, blending with laughter and indistinct sounds. The video captured what were known as Diddy's white parties, gatherings where celebrities, entrepreneurs, and models convened to revel in a lavish lifestyle. But what unfolded on the screen was not glamour, it was the dark underbelly of these events. Familiar faces, a businessman in a white suit, a pop star with platinum-dyed hair, a model in a shimmering dress, appeared engaging in compromising acts, from using illicit substances to behaviors that crossed ethical boundaries. The atmosphere in the footage was suffocating, like a world where all rules were erased, where power and desire reigned supreme. Cassie, from the witness stand, continued to describe her role in the freak-offs. I wasn't just a participant, she said, her gaze steady yet betraying a flicker of pain. I was forced to organize everything, from recruiting people to ensuring they arrived at the right place at the right time. I worked under his direction, but I didn't want to. I was afraid that if I refused, he would release compromising videos of me. She revealed that Diddy routinely recorded the freak-offs, archiving them as a tool to control those involved. He said those videos were his insurance, she said, her voice trembling. If I didn't do what he wanted, he'd make them public, ruining my reputation and my life.
And in her words, she didn't want to do it, but she felt like she had to do it.
Gosh, it's so difficult to hear all of these details.
The courtroom froze when the video transitioned to a new scene. On the screen appeared a woman seated on a couch, her eyes vacant, seemingly unaware she was being filmed. Her face was painfully clear, Kim Porter, the late mother of Delilah and Jesse. Chance in the front row covered her mouth, her trembling hands betraying her shock. Delilah and Jesse, the twins who had tried to maintain a facade of strength, now sat motionless, their faces pale as wax. Delilah gripped Jesse's hand tightly, her nails digging into her sister's palm, as if anchoring her against collapse. Their eyes darted toward Diddy, a mix of panic, anguish, and indescribable betrayal, before locking onto their mother's image on the screen. The image of Kim Porter with her hollow gaze and disoriented demeanor was more than a mere moment in the video. It was a silent accusation, laying bare the depths of the manipulative system Diddy had constructed. Kim, once known for her strength and independence, appeared in a near unconscious state, as if drawn into a world where she didn't belong. Her presence in the freak-off footage not only raised questions about her role in these gatherings, but also stirred a darker suspicion. Was Kim's death, officially attributed to pneumonia in 2018, truly an accident, or was it the result of an intervention to silence her from exposing Diddy's secrets?
They might got into a little spat, a little fight, something went down, and Puff did that play fighting stuff that he always do, and that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her.
Have a good evening, guys.
Diddy, no longer able to maintain his composure, slammed the table and stood up, his chair tipping back with a piercing screech. "Stop the video now," he shouted, his voice hoarse, eyes blazing red. "My children are here, you can't do this." But his outburst was drowned out by Jessie's stifled sobs, soft yet sharp, slicing through the air like a knife. Chance, her eyes bloodshot, sprang to her feet, pulling her trembling twin sisters and rushing them out of the courtroom. The sound of Delilah and Jessie's cries echoed from the hallway, a haunting lament that shook the room. A juror bowed their head, hand covering their mouth, eyes brimming with emotion. A reporter in the back row shook their head, whispering to a colleague, "This isn't just a trial, it's a tragedy." In the cold courthouse hallway, Delilah clung tightly to Jessie, as if trying to soothe the raw pain that had just erupted. The image of their mother on the screen, her vacant, unfamiliar gaze, had pierced their hearts, shattering the warm memories of Kim Porter, the woman who had always sheltered and loved them. Delilah recalled the evenings when their mother sang lullabies, her gentle voice a comfort amidst life's storms. Jessie, tears welling in her eyes, could only whisper, "Why was Mom there?" Her question hung in the air, unanswered, met only by anguish and a growing suspicion about the father they had once idolized. Neither could bear the possibility that Diddy, who had always professed to love them above all else, might have drawn their mother into a dark world, and perhaps even played a role in her death.
We are about to play the freak-off videos, and guess who's sitting front row? Diddy's sons are in the courtroom this morning.
Diddy's attorney, Victor Langston, a towering man with salt and pepper hair and a voice like rolling thunder, rose to counter. "Miss Ventura," he began, his probing gaze fixed on Cassie. "You've described these events as if you were a victim with no agency whatsoever. But let's consider the context. You signed a 10-album deal with Bad Boy Entertainment. You lived in luxury apartments, traveled the world, and attended extravagant gatherings. Is it possible you willingly participated in these freak-offs to secure your place in Mr. Combs' world?" His question struck like an arrow, causing Cassie to falter momentarily. She took a deep breath, her eyes briefly meeting Alex's, drawing strength from his presence. "No," Cassie replied, her voice sharpening, her gaze resolute. "I didn't choose. I was coerced. What I received wasn't a reward, it was the price I paid to survive." He controlled everything, my career, my friends, even my thoughts. I had no choice but to follow his demands, because if I didn't, I would lose everything. Her words rang out in the courtroom like a declaration, prompting a few jurors to nod subtly, their eyes reflecting empathy. Langston pressed on, his tone lowering, as if trying to lure Cassie into a trap. "Miss Ventura, did you ever collaborate with others, such as Miss Kim Porter, to carry out these freak-offs at Mr. Combs' behest? Were you and Miss Porter willing participants enjoying the lifestyle Mr. Combs provided?" The question sent a shiver through the courtroom. The mention of Kim Porter, the late mother of Delilah and Jessie, cut like a razor, reopening the raw pain the Combs family was struggling to conceal. Cassie shook her head, a flash of anguish in her eyes. "No," she said, her voice trembling yet firm. "Kim was trapped, just like me. We weren't complicit, we were victims of the same system. He made us feel like there was no way out, as if everything we had, our careers, our families, our reputations, depended on pleasing him." Her words struck like a blade, and though Diddy remained seated, his unease was palpable. A finger tapped restlessly on the table, his eyes flickering toward the empty seats where his daughters had been, as if searching for a shred of solace in their absence. The emergence of the video featuring Kim Porter, coupled with Cassie's damning testimony, was not merely a blow to Diddy's reputation, it was a dagger plunged into his deepest vulnerability, his love for his children, Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, the daughters Diddy has always proclaimed as the heart of his existence, were forced to witness their mother in a hollow, lifeless state, as if she were a casualty of the world their father had crafted. The girls' anguish, expressed through their sobs and frantic exodus from the courtroom, underscored the video's devastating impact. Their presence at the trial, precisely when the video was unveiled, sparked public suspicion. Why did Kim Porter's children appear at such a sensitive moment? The coincidence fueled speculation of a deliberate intent to target Diddy's Achilles heel, his devotion to his daughters. While Delilah and Jessie fled in tears, Chance and Justin remained composed, their cold gazes fixed on Diddy rather than following their sisters. This behavior left many wondering, do they truly believe in their father, or does their stoic demeanor conceal a profound doubt, a readiness to confront the truth? For years, the media has portrayed the Combs family as a symbol of unity, especially after the death of Kim Porter, the soul-binding Diddy and his children. Yet, when Chance and Justin appeared at the trial, their presence was not mere support, but a veil for hidden motives, hinting at a silent power struggle within the family. The quiet gazes of Chance and Justin, untouched by Kim Porter's bloodline, harbored what loyalty or a cunning scheme. Chance, Diddy's daughter with Sarah Chapman, grew up on the edge of pain. Not a child of Kim, she drifted in isolation, bereft of warm maternal memories. When Kim passed in 2018, her children clung to cherished moments, while Chance faced only a chilling loneliness. Images of Diddy doting on Kim's children in the media stirred in Chance a nameless ache, casting her as a shadow in the family's tender moments. Justin, Diddy's eldest son with Misa Halton, bore a steely resolve. Unbowed by sorrow, he forged himself into a sharp, cold strategist. Viewing the Combs family as a chessboard of power, Justin mastered Diddy's game, navigating brutal trials and scandals hushed to shield the family's name. Beneath his polished facade, those scars shaped him into a master player, ever poised to upend the board. Unlike Chance, Justin did not succumb to pain but honed his edge, observing the family's unspoken rules from youth. He saw Kim's children bask in a mother's love he never knew, yet rather than envy, he learned to read Diddy. As a father, Diddy both cherished and challenged his children, especially Justin, through fierce rivalries and cryptic tasks. Rumored scandals Justin faced were silenced by Diddy to protect their legacy. Those hidden wounds transformed Justin into a cunning strategist, always awaiting the moment to reshape the game. The presence of Chance, Delilah, and Jessie at the trial was no mere coincidence. Word had leaked that Diddy had strictly forbidden any family members from attending, a calculated move to safeguard his public image and shield his children from painful revelations. Yet, when the three daughters took their places in the front row alongside Justin and Janice, their arrival stunned onlookers. What drove Kim Porter's children, ever obedient to their father, to defy his command and appear precisely on the day a damning video was unveiled? Suspicions swirled that Justin and Chance, each carrying their own scars and ambitions, had quietly orchestrated a plan to confront Diddy, their true motives shrouded in mystery. Justin, with his sharp intuition, had long recognized Chance's vulnerability. He saw in his sensitive sister, haunted by a sense of abandonment, the key to sparking a rebellion. In the months leading up to the trial, Justin approached Chance not as a comforting brother, but as a sower of doubt. "Have you ever wondered who Dad really is?" he asked in a private conversation, his voice low yet piercing. He shared stories Chance had never heard of controversial white parties, of Diddy's manipulation of those around him, and of Kim Porter, the mother they idolized, who may have been ensnared in circumstances beyond her control. His words stirred the buried pain and injustice Chance had suppressed for years, prompting her to question the father she revered. Though hesitant, Chance couldn't resist Justin's revelations. She reached out to Delilah and Jessie, the sisters she'd always felt distant from. In late-night calls, her voice trembling, she urged, "We need to be there for Dad, but also to understand what really happened." Without mentioning the video or Justin's disclosures, her earnestness persuaded her sisters. Delilah and Jessie, despite their reluctance, agreed to attend, believing their presence would support their father. Unbeknownst to them, Chance, guided by Justin, had unwittingly become part of a larger scheme, though Justin's true aim, vengeance, power, or truth, remained an enigma. Behind the curtain, Justin's machinations went beyond persuading Chance. Whispers emerged that he orchestrated the delivery of the 2018 White Party archive video to Cassie Ventura's lawyer, Samantha Klein. The footage capturing Kim Porter in a vulnerable state at a white party was no random find. Confidential sources suggest Justin tapped his network of allies to funnel the video to Cassie, ensuring it became a pivotal piece of evidence. Yet he moved with caution, fully aware of Diddy's loyal inner circle, ready to shield him at all costs. To safeguard Cassie and her husband, Alex Fine, Justin allegedly arranged discreet security, though this remains speculative. "She's the only one who can speak the truth," he texted a friend via an encrypted app, his tone icy yet resolute if rumors hold true. As the trial unfolded, tension gripped the room. Cassie took the stand, recounting years under Diddy's control, threats and abuse that trapped her in fear. "He wanted me to be his entirely," she said, her voice low but sharp, riveting the jury. Chance, Delilah, and Jesse sat in the front row, each wrestling with private turmoil. Chance masked her unease, torn between loyalty to her father and the truth Justin revealed. Delilah and Jesse, unaware, gazed at their father with love, only to recoil in panic as the video played. When the White Party archive was unveiled, the screen revealed a seaside mansion, neon lights flickering, and chaotic figures, including Kim Porter, the mother who raised them. Delilah and Jesse, frozen in shock, fled sobbing, their cries echoing like a blade through the hall. Diddy leapt up, roaring to stop the video, his eyes blazing, but they lingered on Chance and Justin, sensing their foreknowledge. Chance, her face steely, met her father's gaze, her unflinching eyes demanding answers. Justin, arms crossed, his stare cold, stood unmoved by Diddy's rage. Within him, a chilling satisfaction bloomed as his father's empire teetered under the weight of exposed secrets. Yet, deep in his soul, a pang lingered, where a faint love for the father he once idolized still flickered, tearing him between justice and the agony of betraying blood. On X, the public buzzed with speculation. Hashtags #KimPorterTruth and #DiddySecrets trended, lauding Cassie's courage. She shattered the silence, one post read, praising her resolve. But Kim Porter's video sparked questions. Why did Chance and Justin, not Kim's children, ensure their sister's presence? Some on X speculated that Justin exploited Chance's emotional wounds to exact revenge on Diddy. "Justin craves power, Chance seeks truth," one comment asserted. The trial of Diddy transcends a mere legal battle. It serves as a stark warning about power, manipulation, and the secrets lurking beneath the glamour of the entertainment world. Cassie Ventura's testimony, bolstered by the Freak-Off video, laid bare a realm where Diddy reigned supreme, turning figures like Cassie and Kim Porter into instruments of his ambition. The meticulously staged Freak-Offs, with their suffocating atmosphere, were more than parties, they were emblems of Diddy's absolute control over those in his orbit. The emergence of Kim Porter's image in the video forced Diddy's daughters, Chance, Delilah, and Jesse, to confront a harrowing truth. The father they once idolized may have drawn their mother into a dark underworld. The anguished cries of Delilah and Jesse as they fled the courtroom bore witness to the wounds inflicted by these revelations. Meanwhile, the stoic composure of Chance and Justin sparked questions. Do they truly believe in their father, or are they concealing private agendas? As the trial presses on, the public awaits answers to deeper questions. Were the Freak-Offs merely a facet of a lavish lifestyle, or evidence of a meticulously organized criminal network? More crucially, was Kim Porter's death truly an accident, or a secret Diddy sought to bury? These lingering uncertainties cast a long shadow, challenging the world to unravel the truth behind the man once celebrated as a cultural icon.